The most unlikely of test wins for Team India, but they will take it, and they've done it in some style with about 40 plus overs to spare in day 5 after the first 2 days or 3 days was all marred by rain. And we're going to pick the bones out of it on this cricket.com match review. My name's Avanish, dressed in the cricket.com blue. We have, of course, Nikhil Popa dressed in the cricket.com white, and Somesh is dressed in a cricket.com merchandise in black. But look, black or white or grey, let's pick all the bones out of this test and holistically talk about it. Get your comments in. We will talk about Virat, Rohit, Jaiswal, Pant, Ashwin, Jadeja, pretty much everyone. We'll also shed some light on Shakib and how our boys have turned out. A good article on him. It could be a grim end to his test career. So lots more in the next 20 minutes or so. Let me come to Nikhil Popat first with regards to this 7-wicket win by Team India. How do you feel, Nick?
Sorry, I missed out on the last word there, but I assume it was special. So I don't think I've seen something as maddening and crazy as this. To lose more than a couple of days to conditions, whatever the officials may want to call it, light, outfield, sun, moon, whatever it is, but to then able to force pace. And remember, this is not a Bunsen or a Turner or a wicket where you feel things are just happening. It was a good cricket wicket. It played through even on the last day. Yes, there was low bounce, but for India to pull off something like this with both bat and ball in one game, I think this should rank as one of those most famous wins. And we should not put any filters that, oh, this is Bangladesh, so be it. Everybody plays weaker opponents at home, but they don't do this as often. And again, it's not about what they do. India have been able to do this, and hats off to everybody involved from Gambhir, Rohit to each and every player in the team. Sorry.
Imagine if they've done this to Bangladesh, what they would have done to Pakistan.
Exactly.
if someone gives that caveat, carry the Bangladesh.
Yeah, if the math actually was working out, because they, of course, swallowed Pakistan in their own territory, but India were dominant as ever. So the most appealing thing to me in this test was 107 for 3 in the 35 overs that Bangladesh batted. And then, of course, day 2, day 3 didn't have any play. India in their first innings actually batted lesser in the whole 35 overs, 34.4 overs. Was that the game changer? And again, it comes down to the intent.
I think Bangladesh were rattled, to be very honest. They would not have expected it. Once it happened, the entire team, they're still inexperienced when it comes to challenging the big teams or in an occasion like this. It's okay to keep playing Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, West Indies, and now in Pakistan. But it's something very different when you come across a team who's not lost a home series in 12 years now. So they were clearly rattled, and that showed in their fielding plans as well. They spread the field as if this is a domestic game and you're just trying to stop a Virender Sehwag from scoring a 100. And then when they came out to bat, there was no real plan. They were like caught in two minds, whether to score runs, whether to play out a draw. So that showed in their shot selection as well sometimes, because at times they were like too defensive, but at times like last ball before the lunch, they went full gung-ho to play a cover drive. So truth be told, it was a situation of a team, of an inexperienced team at such a level of competition, being caught against a team that is just ruthless and just want to win the test.
Yeah, and that's well summed up by you, because even in the grandest scheme of things, the WTC points were at stake. India pocketed not just the first test, but the second test as well. And Nick, it just makes you think about how does honestly a perfect game for India, this one, because the boys were rested. Bumrah didn't bowl that much. Ashwin didn't bowl that much. So holistically, they've kind of got the best of both worlds. The points on the board, but also workload management. That's the right tick in the box.
Yeah, I don't know whether we should be happy about the drainage or sad about the drainage, that it was those conditions that allowed India to be able to rush their paces also that much. Yep. And yeah, as you said, you can't ask for anything more from this game. As nearly as you can get, even I talked about the bowling changes. Jadeja came in at just the right time for India. First over strikes, then 3 for 3. I spoke about him getting a 4 for today. Nearly got one, but see, that's what you want. You go to a guy and the guy gives you a wicket. And that's where everybody should be, whether it is Siraj, whether it is Akash Deep, came in and got rid of Shadman Islam. Again, great catch by Jaiswal. So I'm sure we will discuss Green versus Jaiswal later for Gully. But as good as it can get in terms of everything that India did in this series.
Yeah, ruthless indeed. We'll just, of course, showcase an article, because you brought up Ravindra Jadeja, and he was absolutely brilliant today, and goes on to do a brilliant sort of job for India and across formats, but this format is truly his one. Just go check out this article, guys. I won't go through it in depth, but some great numbers which will make you happy as a Jadeja fan. Indian bowlers with 300 plus test wickets, and Jadeja's right up there in terms of sorting it by average, just behind his partner in crime, Ashwin. And then you take a look at spinners with 300 plus test wickets, and again, Jadeja features in a great list. Murli, Vaughan features in that list as well. And the final one, best bowling average at home in tests. And Jadeja, well, he's behind Murli and Fred Truman. So obviously, he's doing a few things right. Was the writing always on the wall? So you mentioned that Bangladesh were rattled, so on and so forth. Do you always kind of see this collapse, given that India were flexing their muscle with both bat and ball?
I think this is something that we discussed yesterday itself. It was not on the cards, but the way they batted for whatever time remained yesterday, and the fact that if you look at India's bowling attack holistically for the past 12 years, Ashwin and Jadeja have been at the crux of it. But along with the supporting role, and if you have someone like a Bumrah in a supporting role, they're absolutely relentless. I mean, there's nothing the opposition can do unless and until they have like mad batters who can counter any conditions. You start off the day with Ashwin and Bumrah at the other end, then it doesn't work out. You start bowling Jadeja or on a wicket that is not technically a day 5 wicket, but still offering a lot of turn and uneven bounce like we saw. And Akashdeep hitting the wickets with almost every ball. So as an opposition, what can you do? It's that level of aggression and relentlessness against you that you have to sort of yield, ki bhai, take care. Nothing really that we can do here.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to doff your hat to the opposition. That's what exactly Bangladesh would do 100% after their success in Pakistan, like so mentioned. Saroj KR, if you're new to the channel, we discussed this yesterday, but we'll, of course, break out all the positives of this series. Talaiva and Chad, 7-wicket victory, Tala for a reason. If you like all the IPL chatter and MS Dhoni, of course, go check out our Monday Night Live. It was an absolute banging podcast, episode 47. It's available on YouTube right now. I want to pick out some questions, and this was one of them to both of you all. Main positives, because Rishabh Pant ends up as a top run getter, even though it's a 2-match contest, forget series, and then plenty of positives in terms of the ball in hand. But what was your main highlight of the series? I'll ask Nikhil first and then Somesh.
And difficult to pick just one, to be very honest with you, because so many good things have come together. I think Ashwin in particular bowled very well. He looked in rhythm right through the series. Even yesterday when he bowled with a new ball, this was Ashwin of the old. And even in the first innings and in the previous second innings, you saw him being at his absolute best. I'll probably always have my bias for one Bumrah because today he again bowled an off cutter to Rahim. मतलब बेचारे की जान लोगे क्या? I mean, how does I understand Rahim wanted to play a fancy stroke just at the last ball of the session, but still to be able to just conjure something up on a wicket like that, probably Bumrah and Ashwin. Yes, I think Jaiswal is also a very, very good positive. I tweeted it about the same as well, and something that So mentioned a year back about the breath of fresh air that Jaiswal looks batting versus spin, because a lot of Indian batters in the recent times have found it difficult to not just rotate or just look comfortable. Jaiswal has not just looked comfortable; he's dominated them. So to me, that is a very good positive because it allows everybody else to not bat with that pressure. So again, just to pick and choose three, again, I have to pick three: Bumrah, Ashwin, and Jaiswal.
Yeah, and the thing with Jaiswal is the world's literally his oyster right now, but the biggest test of his life will be the BGT. And speaking of which, Som, do you think from this series and the New Zealand one, which starts in a bit, how are we going to sharpen our weapons further, if I have to add it that way? Because literally 1 to 11, we all have players firing. I know we'd like Virat to get more runs under his belt. Gill is, of course, kicked on from the last series and he's made a count. Pant is back looking good. So is there any sort of chink in India's armor right now?
I'm not sure if that'll happen or not, but I would be very okay if India rest Bumrah for the New Zealand series. Because, like I said yesterday as well, if you go to Australia, you need 5 proper fast bowlers. India have 3 ready in the series. We don't know what's the update on Shami. So if Shami is fit, he should have some game time before the tour. And I would really want India to debut one more in the series against New Zealand and at least have him play 2 tests. It can be Yash Dayal, it can be Arshdeep, or maybe bring Mukesh back. Mukesh picked 3 wickets earlier today for rest of India as well. So you need that 5th bowler, assuming Bumrah, Siraj, Akashdeep, and Shami are locked in. You're still waiting for a couple of fringe bowlers to fill in the spot come the BGT, because it's going to be a very long series. So I'm sort of expecting that. On a batting front, I think India looks solid. I mean, this can be your top eight, so to speak, in almost all the tests. Maybe, but barring an injury, which I hope. I mean, everyone is fit, but you can't really guarantee that. And if anything, the last BGT taught us, it was like be prepared for injuries, because they can happen anytime. So yeah, I mean, top eight is sorted for the three pacers role. I just want India to have two more options ready by the time they land in Australia.
Yeah, you didn't mention Harshit Rana. Is he part of your plans?
Whoever it is. I mean, we'd come to know in the New Zealand series. That's what I'm saying. So I mean, it can be an ideal time to actually rest Bumrah, and even try and rest Siraj, because you at this point of time you know what you're going to get from him. He's going to be that mercurial bowler who's going to have his good days and bad days. So at least you know what you're going to get from him. So might as well use the New Zealand series to prepare properly for the BGT. Bumrah was out of action for a while, but now he's had sufficient game time for you to know that yeah, he's ready.
Yeah, and interesting with the New Zealand series, because if we do whitewash them, it'll be almost 1 foot into that WTC, depending how we go about our business in the BGT. If we just basically don't avoid any sort of whitewash there, then India definitely have a chance to make it a third straight WTC final. Next, Som just spoke about the bowlers in terms of how they could potentially be rested, someone like Bumrah as well. I just want to ask you in terms of the batting options in the bench, right? Because one of the guys said, what is your backup opener right now? Is it someone like Gaikwad? And I want to know also, would you give someone like Sarfaraz a chance, or would you still keep KL, who's done well in this test and the series?
See, batting, I don't think it is as straightforward as it was with the bowling, because see, batting in the nature of itself, with the ball you get a lot of time to get into your rhythm, and get acclimatized and do stuff. Batting is not the same. You could get one ball and you're done for the entire test. So that's where I probably want to see the same group probably bat at least two more tests, because all of them need that rhythm into their batting. See, Rohit and Jaiswal have got them runs. Gill got one good innings. Pant looked good in one. Kohli looked good in one. Rahul looked good in one. So you want them to just get a few more runs under the belt, get ready for the test season. If you want to play Sarfaraz, I don't know if there is a straightforward opening unless someone is injured. I would want them to play at least a couple of tests, be ready, and then if you feel there is something to take care of, then probably get in Sarfraz. But otherwise, at this point of time, I would not want to change this top seven, top eight. To be very honest, keep them as it is, and then your backups are your backups. And with respect to Gaikwad, I strangely feel he's a better white ball player, but he's being shoehorned into the Test cricket scene when his numbers are also not that great. But again, they rate him highly, so maybe we'll know that in the New Zealand series, because if any one of them is rested in terms of top order batter, then we will straightforward know that these guys are going to get some game time.
Yeah, because 1 and 2 in my mind is definitely sorted with Rohit and Jaiswal playing the cricket they are. But like 3, 4, 5, 6 with Gill, Kohli, Kale, and Pant, you just need a little bit more form before they really kind of kick off in the BGT. Just take a couple of questions and comments right now. Jasprit Bumrah joins Pravat Jasuria, who had a great test himself in Galle against New Zealand. Both have taken 38 wickets. Thanks for that. Freaking awesome. Jaiswal.
Just to complement that stat, since Bumrah's debut, no other bowler has dismissed batters via bowled more than him. He's had the most bold dismissals since 2018 when he made his test debut. 47 in 30 innings.
This could be a cross formats also, given how he's deceived batters.
Probably, yeah, probably. It is also due to the fact that Cummins has had the most dismissals caught keeper. So that just, that's just the quality, the type of pitches that they mostly play in. That's also a factor here.
That is true. Saroj KR going to say, is Rohit lack of runs concern going ahead? Love the intent. No, not at all. I think Rohit, when he has to bide his time in crucial scenarios, will probably see that side of his game as well. And no Gaikwad for test, please. Let's pick someone with good first-class opening stats, saying Anand Dumbre. All of you guys are welcome on this afternoon show. Please quickly like this and, of course, drop in a comment. So I just want to ask you and throw it forward to the New Zealand series, because India, amazing at home, 18 consecutive series wins. So the question is, if any Kiwi fans are watching, how do you beat India in India?
To be honest, even I don't have an answer. You just expect that I mean, so many of the players will have to have a off series, not even an off day. There is Ashwin, there's Jadeja, probably Bumrah will play. If he doesn't, I mean, other bowlers who are going to play, they know these conditions well. And if the wickets are not like rank turners, you'll have these batters who will pile on. So, I mean, even 600.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to actually know what's going to happen and how any team can beat them. But maybe, probably hope for India preparing wickets which are not rank turners, and then maybe win the toss, bat first, and mount 600 and see if there is a challenge.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go about it in terms of modus operandi. Nick, I just want to ask you about New Zealand, because they've, of course, been found out by Sri Lanka, and they come into this India series not like how Bangladesh came on the series with an absolute high. So are we kind of writing them off already, given their history in India in tests? They haven't won a test here for a while. It just makes you think if it's a 3-0 scoreline written all over that series.
Yeah, again, you would not want to do the mistake of writing them off, because we've done that in the past and suffered at their hands and in the worst manner possible. So I will not do that. Just to add to your question and what Som said, you will need something unbelievable to beat India in India. Right at the start of this video, we talked about how you have to have an outlier of a performance, whether it is Oli Pope, whether it is Dinesh Chandimal, if you see in goal, or it is Joe Root back then, or Steve Smith in Pune. You will need a lifetime knock from one of your top order batters, and it has to be a massive one. It can't be 100. It can be 100 if it's a 200 par wicket. You will need a massive score then, and then you have to hope that somebody like an Ayaz Patel, Glenn Phillips, for all the off-spin moves and Mehdi Hasan has impacted, maybe Glenn Phillips will come out and take wickets. So I think New Zealand's best chance will lie on the type of decks India play on. I don't think India will play on turners. They are more likely to say, CK, let's prepare even more for Australia. Let's try and have good hard bouncy decks. Maybe with good carry, it would be fascinating if they leave some grass on it. Not too much, maybe for the last test they do. So that is what will bring New Zealand into the game. Their paces, I don't think India will have a problem if there is no grass. But if there is grass, then you have Saudi, then you have Will Orong, who did brilliantly against Sri Lanka. So then they will all come into the picture, and then they'll feel at home, what they did in the WTC. So for New Zealand to come good, they will have to everybody have to probably punch above their weight, if you want to say that way, as a unit. And that's what New Zealand always does. And then hope that, see, Bangladesh also had India in trouble. Very first day of the series, 144 for 6. Then Bangladesh allowed Ashwin to score. If New Zealand don't do that, then New Zealand have a chance.
Okay, interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as well. Saroj, we answered this. Som just spoke about it, the fact that we won't be kind of surprised if Bumrah is rested at least for one out of those 3 series. More than that, it is a declining test side. New Zealand introspect Saudi is not the same bowler. Still remember him picking 7-wicket haul in the Bangalore test in 2012. I remember that test as well. And speaking of Bangalore, that's playing host to the first test. I think it's Mumbai as well, which hosts the final test, and there's Pune in between. So it'll be a good series, that one. Plenty of stats going about on cricket.com. Go check that out. I'll give you one just to whet your appetite. Jaiswal now 929 runs, the most in a calendar year for an Indian batter, passing Sunil Gavaskar 1971. So well done, Jaiswal. This also turns out to be the highest run rate in terms of test match play in India, pretty much thanks to India's exploits in that first innings. And finally, I just want to give you a little bit of trivia here and try to stump Storm and Nikhil if I can. Do you guys think this test saw the least balls batted to win a test? This is both innings combined. So do you think this test had that least balls batted to win a test? True or false?
I think there was a 1950 game, England Australia. I don't know if it still holds true, but yeah,
Okay.
That's my only guess.
Probably, I think would have happened some other time. I'd go with false.
Okay, you're right. Actually, so with India, they did it earlier this year. 281 balls they faced in Cape Town against South Africa, and 312 today in the entirety of this test match, which is quite ridiculous. Look, it's been a shortened day 5, but it's been a sweet one for India, and that's how we leave it at cricket.com as well. A short and sweet test match review. And we'll see you for the New Zealand test as well. We'll be doing reviews on every day with regards to that. Until the next time, it's a goodbye from Somesh, Nikhil, and me. Check out all our content on cricket.com. There's some fantastic stuff coming out later on. And of course, Thursday is when the Women's World Cup starts. So we'll be there as well. Cheers. We'll see you soon and have a great afternoon.